A massive story for the footy realm over the last 24 hours, and it's about the crackdown on umpires, Jay-Z.
Yeah, we've been talking flat out for the past 2 days. I mean, after the first game between Melbourne and Carlton, we saw the new interpretation of basically any dissent towards the umpire, any words at all really towards the umpire are going to be met with a 50-metre penalty. And I think after the first game, the Carlton Melbourne game, we're all scratching our heads a little bit. Now, last night I thought that the two teams clearly adjusted to it. I spoke to a senior coach yesterday, Joey, and I said, right, how do you coach this? You watched the footy last night, and he said, we had a meeting with all the players, and he said, we basically said there is no discussion, no talking to the umpires whatsoever. So before the game, hey, mate, how you going? Razor, good to see you. That's cool. And after the game, thanks, Razor, for the game. But basically between the first siren and the last siren, the decree was, and it was blunt, it is don't talk to them. Yeah. Nothing to do with them. You're frustrated, you talk to your teammate. If you need to get it out, talk to them. There is to be no talk whatsoever with the umpires. So we're going to lose a bit of that from the game, Joey. Is it a good thing or not? Because we've seen a bit of banter over the
I mean, it's an interesting one because the umpires would have said, and we had no issue in our game last year with the relationship between players and umpires. I don't think it was spoken about at all. And the umpires would say, in fact, it's probably as good a relationship as they've ever had. They go out to clubs all the time. They know the players. They're out there for the whole preseason. So now to almost not even, have any sort of relationship or contact with umpires. I think it's unrealistic and unreasonable. Yep. I think if you are playing any sport on the edge, highly emotive, if there's any decision that goes against you that you feel hard done by, it is human nature to have a reaction. Yep. Now, I'm absolutely all for if you abuse an umpire or you are disrespectful, absolutely 50-metre penalty. It's been the case ever since before I played. So that's not new. It's the fact now that you can't even sort of, you're kidding umpire joking. Or look up at the score and say, that stuff for me is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out because in moments, heat of the moment, you feel hard done by with a decision. It's natural. It doesn't mean it's abusive or disrespectful to an umpire. It's just a bit of frustration. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not sure how it'll go once the season starts, whether they back off on that and whether it was just a bit of a statement. But it has certainly something that will catch the eye in the first couple of rounds of the season, particularly if it gives away 50-metre penalties that cost goals for things that aren't abusive or disrespectful, that are just a bit more frustration in the heat of the moment.
Why do you think there's being so cautious around the emotion of the players now?
Well, it's clearly all to do with the umpiring at lower levels, which we all understand. And it's a hard one because there's so many people out there that are, people that are just horrible to the umpires.
Some of it's fans. I've seen some at junior level. It's disgusting.
Absolutely.
It's
embarrassing.
I agree.
Yeah. So, whether a player not being able to show any emotion on a footy field is going to change that, I mean, that's where, people can come to their own. But that's the AFL think it might actually make a difference, but we'll see.